Okay, and now looking at question 3 of our endotopic test for 313 probability concepts. We're continuing with that hairdressing theme. We've got some more OHD, occupational hand dermatitis. 1,500 hairdressers, 660 were working at least 5 years, 296 own their own saloon, 30 own their own and have been working less. So working less than 5 years and did not own their own saloon. So I could do this with a two-way table, or I could do this with a Venn diagram. And actually looking ahead, I can see later on further analysis, and they put in another condition, okay, the occupational hand dermatitis. So if I start back here, setting myself up for a Venn diagram question, I can then expand it out. So let's see how we go. So, and by no means do you have to do this with a Venn diagram. You could do it with a two-way table. So I'm going to go for 5 years plus, and I'm going to go for owning your own. I know altogether there's 1,500. What do I know? 30 owned their own and have been working less than 5 years. So this is 30. 296 owned their own. So these two pieces together give me 296. So this must be 266. 660 have been working at least 5 years. So these ones plus these ones gives me my 660. So 660 minus 266 is about 396, I think. Let's just check that. 660 minus 266, 394. Good job, I checked. And working less than 5 years, so we're not in the 5 years, and did not own their own saloon. So we actually want this piece out here. This piece, don't we? Okay, so altogether there's 1,500. So if I take my 1,500 and I take off my 394, my 266 and my 30, I've got 810. So 810, that's the number. So the probability of less than 5 years and did not own equals 810 over 1,500, which is 18 divided by 1,500, 0.54. Okay, two different hairdressers from the study. Okay, we're selecting them. Both were found to have been working at least 5 years. So both worked at least 5 years. Okay, the probability both these own their business. Okay, so the probability first owns own, well, and that's given that it's 5 years plus. So we're looking at just in the 5 years plus portion. So the first one's got a probability 266 divided by 266 divided by these two bits together, 660. Two different units, both were found to have been working at least 5 years. Now the probability of the second owns own, given that they're in 5 years plus. Well, we've taken one out effectively already, yeah? So it's 265, there's one less here, and there's one less in that group, over 659. And so the probability both own business equals the probability the first does times the probability the second does, and really I'm assuming independence, aren't I? Which is 60 times 265 divided by 659, which is 0.162. Okay. And here's I explain whether these events are independent. Okay, so the probability of 5 plus is, we've got 660 of our 1500. That's probably a 5 plus. Oh yeah, 660 divided by 1500, 0.44, and the probability of own equals 296 over 1500. 296 divided by 1500, 1973. Now if they're independent, that's the probability of them both happening is the product of the individual probabilities. So let's check that here. The probability of 5 plus and owning their own, from in our Venn diagram, that's 266 of the 1500, which is 266 divided by 1500, 0.1773, and if I multiply these two together times the probability own equals 0.44 times 0.1973 equals 0.0868. So not independent. So they're not independent, and in fact there's a positive dependency between the two. If you're 5 plus and owning your own, it's more likely than it being at random if they were independent. So they're not independent there. Over in part 3 we're looking at occupational hand dermatitis and and gender. So actually this is we don't need that bit. So 252 were male, 115 males own their own salons, 152 males were working at least 5 years. Okay, so from before we had 5 plus, we had owning own, we need to have 1500 altogether, so it's further analysis of the study, so that still applies, and then we're going to have males. Okay, so males 252. 100 of the males owned their own saloon and had been working at least 5 years. So 100 of the males owned their own, so that's 100 in there. Okay, so I'll use that bit. 152 of the males have been working at least 5 years, so that those two pieces there makes 150, so that must be 52. 115 of the males owned their own saloon, so that's these two pieces here, makes 115, so that must be 15 in there. And the 252 males altogether, so that's 152 plus another 15 is 167. So 252 minus 167 is 85 in this portion here. Now, what do we know? Further to the study, so I also know that from back here, 266 of the hairdressers owned their own saloon and worked for more than 5 years. So these two pieces here must be 266, so that's 166. Also know from the study that 296 owned their own saloon, so these pieces here make 296. So 166 plus 100 plus 15, so that's 281. and I want to get to 296, so I need another 15 in there. So these 4 pieces here add up to 296, and then these 4 pieces here, well, that's all our 5+ people, and they add up to 660. So 660 minus 166 minus 100 minus 52, so there's 342 people in there. And outside 1500, well, we knew those 2 bits there added. No, we didn't. What do we know? We know what those add up to, so we can get our females who don't. So it's 1500 minus our 342 minus 166 minus 100 minus 52 minus 30 minus 80, oops, minus 85. That didn't work. Minus 725 females out there. Okay, calculate the probability that they are a female who has been working less than 5 years, so it's female, so it's not in there. Less than 5 years, it's not in there, so it's out here, and own their own saloon. So that's there. So the probability female and less than 5 years and own salon. I keep saying saloon. Own salon equals, there's 15 of those people who fit that criteria out of our 1500, which is 1%. Okay, and that's that bit done. We'll have a look at marking that and see how we went.